B'siyata d'shmai, with the help of the Almighty. Tonight is Matzah Shabbos, Saturday evening. Today, Saturday, Shabbos, was the anniversary, Yudches Menachem of an event, a tragic event that took place 80 years ago in the Jewish calendar year of Tofresh Pei Tes, when there was a massacre in Hebron, and unfortunately this event is an event that is used and abused by the Zionists to glean support for Zionism and to perpetrate a falsehood that there is a hate, an ingrained hate from the Arabs to the Jews, and therefore the Jewish people are in danger and there has to be a state, etc. We will therefore, with God's help, read a free translation of a transcript of a tape that was given 20 years ago by the distinguished Rabbi Baruch Kaplan, who was a principal of one of the largest girls' schools, or maybe the largest, Beth Yaakov in Brooklyn, New York, USA. He was the one who created this girls' school movement here. And he, at the time in 1929 of the killing of the Jews in Hebron, he was studying there in the yeshiva in Hebron, and he explains how the events unfolded, and that it was the arrogance and the cowardice and the sole cause, the root cause of all the bloodshed at that time was purely because of the Zionists and Zionism. In this manner, we hope to give the people the opportunity to open up a window that they should see the truth, that Zionism is in truth a false entity, and that, as we all know, Judaism and Zionism is diametric opposites. Zionism is the transformation of religion, Judaism, into nationalism. It is expressly forbidden according to the Torah to have a state and to oppress the Arab people, etc. And it's just a whole falsification of both the history, the truth, and of what Judaism is. Of course, we're not condoning it in any way, the murder of the Jews in Hebron, but one must understand that the root cause of the bloodshed and directly the cause of the murder of the Jews there and throughout the history of Zionism is because, squarely you can put in the court of Zionism, it's because of Zionism in the state of Israel. Their hands are covered with the blood of not only the Arabs, the Palestinian people, but of the Jews. Therefore, with God's help, I will read this letter from Rabbi Baruch Kaplan. Because of time constraint, we will be leaving out pieces, I will be saying etc., and it's a free translation. Just the main pieces we will be stating in order that people should understand and comprehend the event that took place. When I was in Hebron in 1929, there occurred the tragic massacre of over 20 yeshiva students, great scholars, plus another 40 members of the Jewish community. I would like to describe the error that has circulated in Jewish communities. A horrible error that accuses the Arabs in Hebron of being murderers who attacked the Jews simply because the Arabs were bad people. In order to correct the record, this error must be corrected. The Arabs were very friendly people, and the Jewish people in Hebron lived together with them and had very friendly relations with them, etc. To take just one example, I used to have the habit of walking a mile or two out of town all by myself to visit a tree that was believed to be the tree where our patriarch Abraham met the three angels as described in Genesis. I especially enjoyed visiting the tree in the summertime. Along the way, I would talk to the Arabs, though it was mostly using our hands because I didn't speak any Arabic. Interestingly enough, no one in the yeshiva ever told me it was dangerous to go by myself amongst the Arabs. We just lived with them and got along very fine. I have also seen a letter from the Grand Rabbi of the Gerech Hasidim of those days, Rabbi Avram Mordechai Alter, of blessed memory of Poland, regarding his trip to the Holy Land during the days when people were talking about emigrating to Palestine. He wanted to find out what kind of people the Palestinians were, in order to be able to advise people whether to move there or not. He wrote in his letter that the Arabs were a very friendly and fine people. Therefore, it's necessary to set the record straight about the accusations that the Palestinians were terrible killers who liked attacking Jews. This was never the situation at all. Today's wicked Zionists are just like the predecessors, who are responsible for causing terrible suffering in Palestine with their wars with the Arabs. May God have mercy. At the time, in 1929, the Zionists had a slogan arguing that the Western Wall in Jerusalem was a Jewish, quote, national symbol, end quote. Of course the Arabs disagreed with this idea, considering that they had control of the location for over 1,100 years. However, the Zionist mobs were yelling that, quote, the wall is ours, end quote. It's hard to understand why they felt that way, considering they have no connection to the Jewish holy places whatsoever. An argument erupted in the Jewish newspapers about establishing a permanent prayer area for Jews at the wall. This provoked the Arabs, and the rabbi of Jerusalem at the time, Rabbi Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld of blessed memory, begged them to stop and to be appreciative to the Arabs for allowing Jews to pray at the wall for so many centuries undisturbed. However, the Zionists wanted a permanent setup under their control, etc., etc. This began the conflict at the time between the Zionists and the Arabs. Afterwards, we were studying at the yeshiva in Hebron and saw a bunch of boys in short pants carrying weapons on bicycles and motorcycles running around the streets of Hebron. We were very worried about this. What were they up to? In brief, our rabbi, the supervisor of our religious academy, Rabbi Moshe Mordechai Epstein of blessed memory, called them for a meeting, but they refused. He was forced to go over to them and ask them what they were up to. He accused them of wanting to provoke the Arabs. They responded that they were coming to protect us. We cried out, quote, woe is us, God have mercy, end quote. They didn't want to leave town until it was too late. These arrogant cowards only ran away when the local leaders of the Arabs called for a mass meeting of the people of the surrounding Arab villages, but it was too late. The Arabs got organized and the Mufti called on his people to be ready Friday night when the yeshiva would be attending prayers. At this point, the yeshiva was alone against the Zionists, but the Arabs didn't know to distinguish between us and the Zionists. Sadly, they attacked and killed some of our people, including the great scholar Rabbi Shmuel Rosenholz of blessed memory. The next morning, we heard about the excitement in town, and even worse, we heard the crying and shouting. I and a friend, Avram Ushpiner, lived in an apartment that was part of a 3-story building leased by a Jew from an Arab. We could hear all the noise from our apartment on the 3rd floor. We were terrified to let the Arabs in because we knew how angry they had become. But a while later, things calmed down. In total, some 65 people were killed. On the other side of town, however, the Jews were spared. Why am I telling this story? It is because I wanted to describe how the wicked Zionists, both today and in those days, were the cause of our suffering. They cooperated with the Nazis, etc. Our religion teaches that a person who causes someone to sin is worse than someone who kills him, etc., etc. A state that killed the Judaism of the Yemenite and Moroccan Jews and of many other Sephardic Jews. This is the work of these thugs and gangsters, etc. Everyone must know that the anger of the Arabs against us is only caused by the Zionists. The Arabs were a friendly people to us, and I am a witness to it. We lived very well with them in Hebron. Rabbi Alter attested to this as well, and it is the accursed Zionists who caused them to hate us. The Zionists dare to use their power to expel the Arabs, and even today in Lebanon, they kill and butcher the Arabs. They wipe out whole villages with the airplanes, etc. Everyone should know who the murderers are. The Zionists are the biggest murderers in the world who refuse to let the Jewish people live in peace, either physically or spiritually.